I got to say, BT, I still believe in Steve.
Oh,
I
Jesus.
believe in King Cohen.
God almighty.
I'm upset about this, but I believe in King Cohen.
You don't sound upset, and you should be upset.
I've got
This is a joke.
I've got to think there are two parts here. The fan in me does not like even for me, and I've been believing that this team is going to be a wild card team this year and competitive and understanding the plan.
Yep.
But when you see something like that, it's like, why put restrictions on it? My God, 10 million, 12 million, whatever but you're not going to get a real DH. That makes me upset. But then if you think about it level-headed, and if I do believe in Steve Cohen and believe in the Mets plan, then I really can't go nuts about this. So I still believe in Steve.
Oh, well, I'm going to think about it level-headed as well. My approach is different than yours. What in the world is this team doing? Listen, if I'm a Mets fan, I'm feeling duped right now. So I guess they're rebuilding. I guess. Is that what I'm supposed to take? I guess.
Well, what does rebuilding mean?
I don't know. Because I don't know if I'm looking at a rebuild right now in Queens. What I'm looking at is a mishmash of I don't know what. So Lindor signed through 2031. You signed Brandon Nimmo through 2030. Arguably, or really at this point almost inarguably, your best position player in franchise history. Is he going to get dealt? Is he going to get an extension? So you got like 3 or 4 marquee guys. You've got the worst rotation in baseball. You have questions everywhere. Citi Field, Sal, and this is sad. I mean, Met fans I don't know how you're not raging right now. Met fans.
I think a lot are.
That place is going to resemble a cemetery by July.
Yeah, I'm not ready to go that far yet. I just don't understand. I still believe in King Cohen. I know people, and I've been saying that for a while, and people have been arguing with that for a while, as you have. And then I see something like this. It's like, come on, man. I've been more lenient this year than I've ever been before. You know me. I'll go nuts with that team. Whether, when it needs to be said, I'll say. So I have been backing King Cohen more so than anybody else and staying the course and believing in Steve. But when you see something like that, it just makes you start to question at least a little bit. Come on, man. Well, 10, 12 million. Go get a real DH. That's all, man. I'm not asking a lot. You went for Yamamoto, fine. We know that the big splash is not going to be there. I don't want Snell. I don't want anybody else. Don't go. I can understand, even though I take him. I can understand not getting Montgomery. But to have Andy come on, and then there's some people saying, oh, it's not true, the report. Trust me, it's true. Andy, give me the one where he missed. He knows what he's talking about. Now, it wasn't just saying this is a definitive hard number. He even said in the segment on Hot Stove on SNY last night that, Steve Cohen could change his mind. If there's a player that he feels worth it, maybe they could go a little bit more. But roughly, that's what they're looking at the budget to spend the rest of this year, $10 million. And that means to me, Mark Vientos. And I've had it with Mark Vientos.
No, he's not the answer.
So the difference is, when I say they're evaluating, they're not punting, they're evaluating while trying to build a real team. Stearns wants to evaluate Vientos. Well, let me cut to the chase. Let me save you the time. He sucks. You don't need to evaluate Vientos. I know what he is. I've evaluated him. He ain't it. So go get a real DH. BT, is it too much for me to ask, even in a year where it's rebuilding, whatever term you want to use, just to get a real DH?
No, which is why I'm stunned that you're not out of your mind. I mean, listen, I do respect the loyalty. And
well, I do believe in it.
I know.
It's not even loyal.
No, but you've been loyal thus far to Cohen. You believed in his vision.
Correct.
And I respect that. Because you, like me, you are an emotional person.
Right.
So when you remain, married to a concept, even when a lot of things around you or a lot of people around you are suggesting otherwise, I respected that you dug in up until now.
Right.
I'm confused how you're not out of your mind. And I don't mean just for the show. No,
I know.
I'm legitimately sitting here with pitchers and catchers about a month or so away, and you beginning to truly process what awaits you. And that is a team that is going to be a layer ahead of an expansion team. And the other thing, just to finish this off, so the Mets, they're stirring this pot, and they've got 3 different recipes. One would be a full rebuild, which I would respect, but they're not doing that. If you want to do that, trade Lindor.
Well, who the hell would take Lindor on that
contract? If you eat 30% of the money, Lindor's still a really good player. I mean, what are we doing? What's the plan?
I mean, that's a different argument. I do think the plan is to get, under that luxury tax threshold and trim the fat. And after this year, the dead
You sound
money,
like Hal, the guy that you always make fun of. You sound like Hal Steinbrenner. The luxury tax threshold. You're supposed to just jump over that. You know what you're supposed to do? as with Cohen, as a Mets fan, you're supposed to look at that luxury threshold and say, stick it up your behind. It means nothing to us.
Yeah.
Because that's all I was sold. Cohen's coming, the exact opposite of the Wilpons, and here we are.
Well, here's the thing, though, right? Let's just go based off of some of the facts. Like, the Mets did offer Yamamoto $325 million. So there are a couple of things happening at once, which is why it makes it difficult and confusing. If you're willing to go all in on Yamamoto, it means that you're not rebuilding, you're not punting, and you're not necessarily making money or getting under the payroll or whatever the top priority. You're going to spend wisely. And, okay, you don't see – like, that's why I've come to the fact, like, I don't want Blake Snell anyway, but the Mets need pitching. They're not going to look at Montgomery. All right, I would myself, but you're not going to do it. I could understand that because you missed out on your top target. And you're not just going to spend just to spend, especially in a year where you don't really believe in your team. However, there's a difference with that, with me accepting no Snell, no Montgomery, and also accepting what they've done to their rotation and what they're going to do with their last 10 to 15 million bucks left. Like, that's where we disagree. Go get a real DH and a bullpen arm at the minimum, and I'd be like, okay, I don't think they're going to be great, but I'd take it. Or a DH and another starter. I don't think they're going to be great, but at least I take it. Right now, their rotation is basically set, and they're telling you that most likely the lineup is set.
Yeah.
And they're going to add bullpen arms.
Yeah, I mean, good luck with that. I mean, Sal, this team's going to be unwatchable after the first 40, 50 games. I mean, I know you'll watch and we'll watch. It's our job. We're not going to derive any pleasure. They're going to stink.
I still don't think they're going to be that bad.
They're going to be. They're worse than the Marlins.
See, the problem is I've been backing them, believe in Steve, long-term, all that stuff. And even this year, they're going to be competitive. You watch, wait and see. And each little move, yeah, Minaya, I like it. Bader, I like it. But I thought there'd be more. And
yeah, you thought those were like the ancillary pieces, not the big moves. Those, in essence, are the big moves.
Oh, I thought they'd get a DH, and I thought they'd get one more starting pitcher.
Look, Sal, Luis Severino. And listen, I know we have fun, the whole Yankee Met thing, but and this is not even what I'm doing, but you signed a Yankee reject who was absolutely
one of the worst pitchers in the game.
Yes. I mean, statistically defined, awful. You signed an outfielder who could pick it. All right, he's always hurt, always strikes out. He's going to hit 225. That's Bader. Like, these are moves that the Wilpons made.
Right.
I
agreed.
I was going to say I'm confused. I'm not. I'm almost mad for you. You know why I'm mad, too? Because I'm going to have to watch bad baseball in Queens.
I know. I just have to resign myself to the – see, because I believe in Steve and the long-term plan – and there's some reason to believe that. Like, I believe if Soto does hit the open market, they're going to go get it. Doesn't mean that they're going to get him. They're going to go after him. I mean, they've gone after a bunch of people and haven't gotten them. So,
who's going to look at the Mets as an appealing destination when they go 72 and whatever this year?
Yeah,
Juan Soto, yeah, let me join that. While the Yankees and when him and Judge combined for 97,000 home runs, and the place has 50,000 people there every night.
Which is why I don't understand why they just wouldn't do a little.
I don't know.
Like,
it's pathetic. I don't know why you're not mad.
And by the way, why even put a number on it? Why even say, well, we have roughly 10 million more? Like, that is a trigger for Met fans. Because of the BC era before Cohen, that's a trigger.
That's true.
Like, if they didn't do anything the rest of the way, it would have been a problem. But if they added the bullpen arm or, whatever, a DH, it would have been fine. Nobody's really looking at the money. But when you hear, well, they're wrapping up, as Andy Martino said, they're wrapping up their offseason. They have roughly 10 million to spend. Doesn't mean it's factual as far as how much exactly.
It could be 12, it could be 9. I got you. It's in the neighborhood of 10 million, which is unacceptable.
And that they're prioritizing bullpen. Which means that the idea of J.D. Martinez or Soler or Justin Turner, it's probably not going to happen unless the price comes down.
Absolutely criminal.
That's where it is troubling. But I do still, at my core, BT, believe in Steve. Brandon Tierney, Sal Licata on the Fan. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Brad is calling from Mineola. What's up, Brad?
Hey, guys. Happy New Year. Long time no talk.
What's up, Brad?
Hey, man.
Sal, man, I mean, I just have a couple points, then you guys can talk about them. Like you said just before, Atlanta and Philly and Miami are way better than us, and there's no question about it. A couple days ago, you spoke about the lineup, and yes, we have a solid 1 through 6, and we also have DJ Stewart that can play DH. Yes, do we have Senga and Quintana? Great. We have a 1 and a 2 who he's probably a 4 on any other team. And we have Diaz, but we're never going to get to him. I agree with BT. This is a 70-win team at best. I'm sorry, Met fans, but welcome back to the Wilpons. Thank you, David Stearns, for nothing. And thank God we have the New York Knicks. Go New York.
Go New York, go. All right.
Thanks for the
Being those Trailblazers last night by 70, whatever
We'll
it was.
get to the Knicks a little bit
we'll hit them later.
I know
That's the
people are
first
starved for
one.
that stuff.
Disenchanted, disgusted Mets fan, as he should be.
But I think Met fans have felt like this the majority of this offseason, no?
I think that they were confused. I think there was a little frustration waiting for things to happen. I think they appreciated the Yamamoto pursuit. I think if they're transparent and honest, I think that they'd have to look in the mirror and said, we took a big swing at it. But I also think that why the frustration is now turning into sporting rage is because deep down, while they were frustrated, I think that they thought that when it came time to make a move, Stevie was gonna deviate from this conservative offseason and just start going a little bit of bonkers here.
Yeah, I don't. Well,
and so did I.
Also, you see what the Dodgers are doing. Maybe you're thinking the Mets are going to get mad. I'm all for, I'm in agreement with them in not going after Blake Snell or not chasing a pitcher that you don't believe in just to get a pitcher in there. So I'm fine with that. You can't, though, say that the offseason's almost a wrap and you're prioritizing bullpen and you get $10, $12 million to work with. And I understand everybody's got a budget. I understand where the payroll is. It's an astronomical payroll.
Yep.
There's a lot of dead money in that payroll. But what you're telling me by saying what they did, what Martino reported last night, what you're telling me is that you don't care about this year. So I don't want to hear about a repurposing of assets. I don't want to hear about we're going to be competitive because what you're fielding right now, it's not enough.
It's one of the 10 worst teams in baseball, without question.
I think you think they're worse than I. But here's the thing. Even if I think they're going to be good, for them to be good, they almost have to hit on. Severino has to be good and stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Minaya has to be good. Kodai Senga has to do what he did a year ago. I don't think he's going to do that. The rotation is so many question marks.
Too many contingencies. That never works out.
Okay, and then, so now let's go past that and look at the lineup.
Yep.
And there's contingencies there.
Yeah.
And that's why, at least if you get a real DH, I think you can make a case, let's say, one of Marte, Alonso, McNeil. One of those guys has a bounce back year. Now, Pete is going to hit the homers.
Sure.
Does he bounce back with the average? Mm-hmm. Does Marte bounce back and have an impactful year? Or McNeil? Because if you get one of those two, plus Lindor, Alonso, Nimmo, plus Alvarez, plus an actual bleeping DH. I mean, the Mets are the best case against the DH in the National League.
Here we go. Finally.
If you're a purist and you want the pitchers to hit, look at the New York Mets. They can't, for whatever reason, find an actual DH. I'm sick and tired of it. Dom Smith, J.D. Martinez, Darren Ruff, Daniel Vogelbach, Robinson Cano. I mean, the DH should be the easiest thing to fill. I mean, my God, and now they're going to give us Vientos this year. That's what drives me nuts. But if you look at this team, how are you supposed to get... I understand not going all in. I do. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying spend the way the Yankees are spending this offseason potentially on Snell or Stroman or whoever, Montgomery, whatever it may be. I understand not trading for Soto, even though I don't like it. I understand it. I cannot accept not building a team that realistically... who are you fooling? Realistically, you have to be able to build a team that can compete for the very least a wild card spot. This team can't win 85 games. They're going to get bullpen help? Oh, come on.
I mean, that's what I thought you'd say to start the show.
No, because I do believe in the plan. I believe in Steve. I just...
You know what's the crazy thing about...
I'm not begging you, just give me a little something.
They're not going to.
And by the way, even if they did that, even if they gave a little something, and I still said, see, I believe in Steve, you'd be saying the same thing. This isn't enough, dude.
Depending on what they gave you. If you had J.D. Martinez, at least I could say, all right, so Lindor's an all-star, Pete cranks out 45 bombs, Nimmo does this. Then I can at least start to rationalize. But when you don't even have a professional hitter that you can write in the lineup every day to get 4 at-bats and have an OPS above 600, you're going nowhere. And I'm not going to waste my time lying to great Met fans, telling them that they've got something that they don't. This team stinks.
And two things can be true. I believe in Steve Cohen and the long-term plan. However, I'm pissed off that we're going to have to sit through another crappy year.
I have a question for
like,
you.
at least just give us a shot.
I do believe that two things can be true. I do. And I do believe that you still believe in Cohen. And I do know that you are pissed about this season.
And by the way, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's all good. Do you still believe in Steve the way you once did?
See,
is the better question for me.
That's kind of what I was going to get to. I don't have a ton of reason not to believe in him. However, as each day goes on, and now the report that comes out and like facing the reality of what they're going to be this year, there's also nothing to show why I should believe in him.
Mm-hmm.
The pursuit of Yamamoto, yes. But at some point, he's going to have to land that guy. Soto would be the one next year. Let's just say they play it out next year and they don't get Soto. Then what? Then what? Then we're going to be in the same spot next year?
It might be worse because you might trade Pete.
I mean, that's a whole nother issue with Alonso and how they figure that out. AJ is calling from Port Jeff. What's up, AJ?
Hey, good morning, fellas. How's everything going?
How are you, AJ?
What's up, buddy?
I'm doing well. Before I get into the Mets, any frustrated Mets fans that want to get behind a good team, St. John's Red Sox playing some good ball right now.
Go.
Yeah, big one tonight. Providence Garden. That Johnny, listen, it's Patino. You shouldn't be surprised that they're good.
Got to win that one tonight.
Yep.
But to the Mets. Listen, I can't lie. I'm very frustrated this morning. Sal, I'm kind of with you where I'm still believing in like the long-term plan, but I can't help but feel like we were sold a bag of goods when, Cohen came on board and we were under the impression that every single year we were going to be a contender. And now we're talking about there's guys like Soler and JD Martinez that if you sign them, they don't throw you off the plan, which is they're trying to sell us 2025. You could sign them to a 1-year or 2-year deal with an opt-out to have them off the books in time to go all in for 2025 and still have a contending team for a wild card spot this year. Just right now it feels like they're trying to tell us they're not punting, but any fan with a little bit of a clue, it feels like it's a punt for this year.
See, that's the point.
I'm pissed off, man.
That's the point, AJ, and thank you for the call. A lot of Met fans, myself included, and like I said, you guys should know by now that I will rip them to shreds when need be. I am understanding of their plan. I am accepting that this year going in is going to be less than. I'm fine with that. However, there are limitations to that. And if you don't get a real DH, just like AJ said right there, that's not going to throw you off the plan. There's not some ridiculous ask, but go get this guy and go trade for that guy. Like, I understand you don't want to part with the prospects. I understand you're not going to give out a big-term contract. I don't understand how you can't give the very little that we've accepted to ask for this year. I'm not asking for the stars and the sky and the moon. Give me a little crumb.
Cohen's letting you down.
Soler's a crumb in the big scheme of things. You can't get Jorge Soler.
I'm letting you down.
God, that's what I mean. Even when you sit there and say, we'll accept it, now they're going to give you nothing. I still believe in Steve and the plan. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to be rational here. However, life is short. We're getting older here. I want to have a season to at least be somewhat excited about.
You will. 2025.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about this year. BT and Jerk. BT and Sal.